I just found out that Judas Priest drummer Les Binks has passed away at the age of 78. So for that reason, I wanted to make a short tribute video as I haven't done one of these in a while. I will give you some background on the artist and I will talk about 10 of his best achievements in the music industry. First, a little background. His full name is James Leslie Binks. He's known professionally as Les Binks. He was a drummer who was very influential in heavy metal, not only with Judas Priest, but with some other bands as well. He was born in Portadown, Northern Ireland, and his career spanned over 5 decades, during which he played on a few of the most important albums in the history of heavy metal. He pioneered drumming techniques and he influenced generations of musicians. He's most known for his work with Judas Priest in the late 70s, but his achievements go far beyond his time with the band. Now, I'm going to talk about 10 of his most important accomplishments in the music world. Number one is he co-wrote Judas Priest's Beyond the Realms of Death. I think we could all agree that his biggest achievement is his work on the album Stained Class from 1978, mostly from the track Beyond the Realms of Death, which originated from a demo that Les Binks created with guitarist Steve Mann. The song features a haunting melody and intricate structure that was much different than the band's early work. Vocalist Rob Halford later wrote the lyrics, which are about a man waiting for death while suffering from depression. As a result, the song became a fan favorite and a staple of the band's live performances. Song success also demonstrated Les Binks' versatility as both a drummer and a songwriter, and that earned him a rare co-writing credit in a band that was dominated by its founding members. Number two is the induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, I don't know if you know this, but he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and say what you want about that, but I have to admit, it's pretty impressive. He was given this honor in 2022 alongside his former Judas Priest bandmates. He was included because he helped shape the band's sound during that critical period of the band's evolution. Not only that, but he performed at the induction ceremony, which was also his first appearance with Judas Priest in 43 years. So that was also very impressive. Because of this, he will always be seen as a key figure in the development of heavy metal. Number three is pioneering the double bass drumming in heavy metal. Now, I don't know if you know this, but he was one of the first metal drummers to use the double bass drumming technique. And this can be heard on both the albums Stained Class and Killing Machine, both released in 1978. This would later be used often in thrash and speed metal, and some good examples of double bass drumming can be heard on tracks like Exciter and Hellbent for Leather. These songs also showed off that really awesome machine gun drumming that became common. Now, granted, he didn't invent double bass drumming. I did some research, and the first example dates back to 1939 with this teenage musician named Louis Bellson, who allegedly drew a drum set with 2 bass drums in an art class at school. But I want to give him credit for just bringing it into metal. Also, his work on the album Unleashed in the East from 1979 is another good example of his drumming, being able to play very precise drumming at high tempos. And I'll talk more about Unleashed in the East later on. Number four, he was part of the chart success with Take on the World. He played a pivotal role in securing the band's first UK Top 40 hit, which peaked at number 14 as a drummer of the 1979 single by Judas Priest called Take on the World. The songs had a very anthemic quality, it had a foot-stomping rhythm, and it demonstrated his ability to adapt to more accessible material without sacrificing his technicality. The song was even covered by a new wave band called the Human League during their 1980 tour, so that's also pretty impressive. Number five, Unleashed in the East was certified platinum. Now, I mentioned before, Judas Priest released a live album in 1979, which was during the Japanese tour called Unleashed in the East, and this was recorded while Les Binks was in the band. The album not only became a commercial success, but it was certified platinum in the US, which is pretty impressive for a live album. It's also considered to be one of the best live albums within the entire heavy metal genre, so that's impressive just in as of itself. Number six is he did session work with Roger Glover and Eric Burdon. Now, you might not know this, but before he joined the Judas Priest, he was a session musician, and he was very popular and sought after. One of his biggest achievements prior to joining Judas Priest was his collaboration with Deep Purple bassist Roger Glover on an album called The Butterfly Ball and the Grasshopper's Feast, which was released in 1974. And this album also featured other future metal stars such as Ronnie James Dio and David Coverdale. I had somebody in my comments section tell me about this album not too long ago when I reviewed that latest album by Don Airey. And I haven't actually listened to this album, but supposedly it's based on a children's book, but also considered one of the best albums outside of the Deep Purple family tree. So that's another great achievement. Number 7 is his commercial success with a band called Fancy and the song Wild Thing. So before joining Judas Priest, he joined this pop rock band called Fancy, and this band did a cover of Wild Thing, which became a hit in the US. So I would call this another one of his achievements, being that his success was not only limited to heavy metal. The band also released a follow-up called Touch Me, and that also reinforced his commercial styles. Not only that, here's some more trivia. The song Feel Good by Fancy was sampled by the Beastie Boys on Paul's Boutique in 1989. So as you can see, his influence reaches other musical genres, which go as far as hip-hop and rap. Number 8 is the formation of the Les Binks priesthood. Now, you might not know this, but he started his own band in 2017, which was a tribute band called Les Binks Priesthood. And on that, he would play Judas Priest songs and other songs, then collaborate with other musicians, such as David Ellefson from Megadeth. This band not only celebrated his work with the band Judas Priest, but he also introduced his work to new audiences who may not have been familiar with him. Number 9, he was in a band called Lionheart. After Judas Priest, he joined a hard rock band called Lionheart, and this featured a singer whose name is Jess Cox, who previously played with Tigers of Pantang, as well as Dennis Stratton, who previously played with Iron Maiden, Steve Mann, who played with Michael Schenker, and bass player and vocalist Rocky Newton, who was in the band Wildfire, and drummer Frank Noon, who played with Def Leppard. He was only in the band a short time. The band split up in 1986, but it's worth mentioning because he has connections to all of the bands I just mentioned. And number 10 is that his career spanned 5 decades. Finally, I want to mention that he's been active in the music scene for over 50 years, and that includes everything from session work to pop to heavy metal. He also kept himself out of the spotlight. You don't hear any stories about him falling to the excesses of the rock and roll lifestyle. He just continued to do what he loved, and for that reason, I want to mention that. So if you want to hear my thoughts on the album that Les Binks played on during his time with Judas Priest, I will stick those right there, including both Stained Class and Killing Machine, as I reviewed those albums a few years ago when they celebrated anniversaries. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Please give the video a like. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe if you have not already. I do rock and metal reviews, rankings, and more. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.